lost in love.
Nothing but love, 'cause girl,
Let's
I'ma
go.
hold you down.
Ma, it's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get they nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking. After I ease in, if you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than a cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy would be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets.
Lady, I hold you. Every time I see you, I just wanna kiss you and hold you. You can take you to my place, candlelight dinner. Then I start myself.
What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Tom coming live at you another True Players Podcast episode. Today, which is Saturday the 9th. Blessed to hit you guys with another episode today this week. This podcast is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a week in review. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Speak about a lot of things on the podcast. A few things that we didn't cover last week, as well as the big victories by the New York Jets and Giants. NBA preseason has started, and let me just start off with the baseball because a lot of big things happening in New York, especially with the Mets ending their season with a record of 74-82. The manager Luis Rojas has been fired after a third place finish in the division, which at the All-Star break the Mets were in first place. This was a shocking turn of events in which the team lost their first place status and eventually slid down all the way to third place and finished 8 games under 500. Under the second season with Luis Rojas, the first season with Francisco Lindor on the team. As a Met fan, I deem this as a very big disappointment because they were in first place. And yes, they were in first place, but they weren't playing their best baseball. So now they go into the offseason with question marks about Noah Syndergaard, question marks about Michael Conforto, Javier Baez, Marcus Stroman, amongst other things, other people that's going to be involved who are free agents this season for the New York Mets. Where do the Mets go from there? There's already been speculation that Michael Conforto will not be signing the qualifying offer that the Mets would offer him. So, again, this is a product of Scott Boras as his agent. This is Scott Boras' move. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he's going to make $19 million off the qualifying offer if you were to sign, especially coming off a down season for Michael Conforto. I think that's not a bad idea to sign a qualifying offer. Give yourself an opportunity to prove yourself on a 1-year contract. I understand him and his agent want a long-term contract, but $19 million for a player who has who batted to about, I think, 227 or something like that this season. I mean, I'll take that $19 million because this guy, Michael Conforto, is capable of batting 290 and hitting 40 home runs and getting 100 RBIs. Think about how that would translate into a new contract. Instead of now messing around flirting around with at least 20 to 25 mil a year, could you get at least 28, 29, or even 30 mil a year off a season where he bats 290, 40 home runs, and over 100 RBIs? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's just hope his agent doesn't drive him out of New York. Because this agent, I was never a fan of Scott Boras. I understand if I was still playing ball and I was a major league player, I would love to have him as an agent, of course, because he tried to get you the best money for your buck. But if you're comfortable in the situation, I'll take less money if I'm comfortable in New York. I'm taking less money, not that much less money, but I'll take less money to stay. But let's see what happens. A fair contract for Michael Conforto, for me, I will go 6 years, $25 million per year, opt out after 3. Let's see if Sandy can do that, make that move and have him resign. Like I said, the history of Scott Boras, that his players do not resign with the team. The last big player he had was Alex Rodriguez. In order for Alex Rodriguez to re-sign with the Yankees after he opted out of that big 25 mil per year, um, 25 mil per year contract that he's originally signed with Texas, he had to fire Scott Boras in order to get that deal done to stay with the Yankees. So we'll see what happens. As far as Marcus Stroman goes, his record was this year was 10-13. What is he worth in the free agent market right now for the New York Mets? He, because of the lack of starting pitching right now with the Mets, I think you have to sign Marcus Stroman. I'm not a big fan of his, but because of the lack of depth that we have in the starting rotation, and question marks with DeGrom, question marks with Carrasco, question marks with Peterson, I think you have to sign Marcus Stroman. You have to sign Noah Syndergaard as well. I think Noah Syndergaard will be more inclined to sign that qualifying offer than Conforto would be. I think Noah Syndergaard should sign a qualifying offer and bet on himself. I believe in Noah Syndergaard. I think if he comes back fully off the Tommy John surgery, he's going to be great. And now the Mets going to really fork up some money to re-sign him. Noah Syndergaard loves New York. So does Michael Conforto. They both love New York. Let's try to keep our homegrown players in New York for once, instead of seeing them going to another franchise and flourishing. Let's get that fixed. All right? As far as Javier Baez, listen, would I rather have a third baseman and keep McNeil in second base? Yes, I would. But if Javier Baez's contract demands is reasonable, I could see him staying with us, staying with the Mets, playing second base alongside Francisco Lindor. And then now the chips may fall where they may, whether you're going to put McNeil in left field or you're going to put McNeil in third base. Either way, that's going to determine how the Mets pursue free agents this season in regards to the positions of left field and possibly right field and third base. So this is going to be a very strange offseason for the New York Mets. People are predicting and speculating there's going to be a lot of changes. Look, you were in first place in the All-Star break and you fought 8 games under 500 to end the season, and third place in the division, which you guys with the Mets clearly had some control over. And the division is only going to get better. Phillies are going to get better. The Braves are back where they were doing last year in the playoffs. And by the way, they're up 1-0. I mean, the Brewers are up 1-0 against the Braves right now in the playoffs. They're actually playing right now as we speak. So let's get back. We could stay with baseball. A lot of you Yankee fans are saddened by the loss of the New York Yankees on Tuesday, 6-2 against the Red Sox. A bitter rival. You had your ace, your $326 million pitcher, only threw 2 in the third innings. He didn't have it that night, you know what I'm saying? But this is a glaring problem with the New York Yankees, is starting pitching, and they don't hit. This team is not a big clutch team. Outside of Stanton and Judge, no one else is hitting the clutch. And, not having LeMahieu playing in that game really hurt them a lot. But Glaber, since he moved back to second base, has been playing much better. So now you have a dilemma for next season. You got to sign Rizzo. You got to re-sign Rizzo. He makes that team. He balances that lineup out a lot. So where do the Yankees go from there? Again, the Yankees was the total opposite of New York Mets. They were below 500 at the All-Star break. They went on the streak, ended the season 20 games over 500, and then losing a wild card game. So you have to understand what's going on with the New York Mets, New York Yankees. Both have a lot of work to do. Yankees is real simple. Get some starting pitching to go with that vaunted bullpen. You may have to give up some pieces in the bullpen to get your starting lineup, your starting rotation in shape. You may have to do that. So, like I said, I'm giving you guys a little teaser of what the off season is going to come for both teams. I will speak about them in another podcast later on when we get closer to the hot stove. I'm going to go deep into it. And I hope by that time, Noah Syndergaard has signed his qualifying offer. And I hope Michael Conforto signs either his qualifying offer and gets a long-term contract to stay with the Mets. That's what I'm hoping for before the hot stove and the December meetings happen. Briefly on the MLB playoffs, the Giants are up on the Dodgers 1-0 in the series. Giants won the first game. The Dodgers did beat the Cardinals in the wild card playing game. The Astros and the White Sox, the Astros, 2-0 versus the White Sox. Two veteran managers, Dusty Baker and Tony Russo, are going at it. And you got to give credit to the Astros. They got caught up in that. They got caught up in a very big scandal of cheating, and this team is now back in the playoffs, the second year in a row, trying to prove to everybody that they really are a good team, despite the garbage banging and sign stealing activity that they were doing in the 2017 season. They have to prove that, and also I'm go back to the Red Sox and Rays tied 1-1. That's going to be an interesting series. But the only problem I do have in the playoffs, when it comes to the baseball playoffs, I feel that if two teams in the division play two teams in the division are in the playoffs, they should save that for the championship series, not in the divisional series. In my opinion, that they should leave like that. So. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. And then this week, which I totally slept on, the NBA preseason has started, but not without controversy. But before I get to the controversy part of it, I'm going to talk about my New York Knicks and their preseason debut against the Pacers. The New York Knicks with Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, D Rose is back, Randall, R.J. Barrett, Nerlens Noel, IQ, Alec Burks. They're back and playing, and I'm excited about this team right now. I'm excited about the New York Knicks, how they played against the Pacers, albeit it's preseason, but a lot of things that impressed me. Obi Toppin I sense a big season for him. Coming off the bench, his improvement, his handles are better. He's getting to the basket more, going in there dunking, spinning, dunking, all types of shit, blocking shots, all types of shit. Mind you, Obi Toppin and IQ didn't have a summer league to play last year because of the pandemic. This year they had the opportunity to play in the summer league to sharpen up the games, and hopefully better play this year from both of them. IQ still taking some bad 3-pointers that I've seen during the preseason, but let's just hope he fixes that, because if he's able to shoot a clip of close to 48 to 50% from the field, he's going to be a hell of a player coming off the bench to go with D Rose coming off the bench, while Kemba Walker and R.J. Barrett is starting at the guard spot. I can envision, due to the improved play of Obi Toppin, I can envision Thibodeau going with Randall at the 5 and Toppin at the 4 at certain junctures in the season. I can see it happen. So what does that say about Nerlens Noel and Mitchell Robinson? Well, we're not going to see Mitchell Robinson to start the season. He's still recovering from his injuries from last year. But like I said, we will see what's happen. We will see what's going to happen. I'm excited for the New York Knicks. I'm excited to be a fan of the New York Knicks. Can't wait for the season to start to see what they can do. Excuse me. I hope to have either next week or the week after have Live Neutral, who's on my podcast for the Polyworld Part 2, to join me and discuss the NBA season. to join me and to discuss the NBA season before the season starts. But now I'm going to talk about the dilemma, the crisis that's going on over there with the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving. About the he doesn't want to take the vaccine. I get that. It's a personal choice. But the ramifications of not taking the vaccine means he can't play any games in New York, which includes 41 home games and 2 games at the Garden. Because of the shithead mayor of New York City and the shithead governor in New York, this situation is happening. You put a mandate on an inoculation. The guy doesn't want to take it. It should be his choice to take the inoculation. It should be his choice to take the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Do I always agree with Kyrie Irving on his moves and how he moved, especially with how he was moving last year with the Brooklyn Nets? No, but this one I have to take his side on this. I really do. This is what happens with the healthcare workers. Now it's happening with the basketball players. You put a mandate on now, people can't make their income. As I mentioned on my Instagram live I did a few days ago on my personal Instagram, not on my True Players Podcast Instagram, people who work pay taxes. So why are you depriving them the ability to make an income to pay your taxes to keep your ass in office? By putting petty mandates. I'm just saying it's a situation. I'm not going to go deep into it because I don't want to become a target. But I could say a lot of things right now. I could tell people to do things that will piss the hell out of the government. But I will not say that. I will not say anything. Like I said, taxation without representation. That's all I'm saying. Take it for how you may. If you can't work, how are you going to pay the taxes? Food for thought on that end, guys, ladies and gentlemen. But Kyrie Irving, I got your back on this one, brother. It's your body. You do what you have to do with your body. It should not deprive you. No one should ever deprive you of making a living because you make a decision with your body. Especially when you're an athlete, you do have autonomy over your body. So only doctors can come up and tell you, you can't play in this game if your knee is really bad and you try to fight through the injury. Only the doctor can tell the coach, don't play him. But Kyrie, I'm on your side on this situation. I don't agree with any forced things that goes on in this country. It's not American to even tell someone what to do with their body. So that's not the American way. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Excuse me. I'm just gonna leave it at that, guys. But last and not least, for the week of the review is the NFL's 2 New York teams who play in Jersey have gotten their first wins of the season via overtime. Now let me get to the Giants part of it too. I saw Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes go for 402 yards, 28 for 40, 2 TDs and an interception. With Saquon Barkley coming in and getting the game-winning touchdown, where he had 12 carries, 51 yards. I know he's not fully back from his ACL injury, but I expect him to drop 100 yards rushing sometime soon to get the ball rolling on his behalf. Danny Dimes finally had a connection with Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay had 6 receptions, 116 yards. They beat the Saints 27-21 in overtime. Saquon Barkley's game-winning touchdown. That man is going to earn his contract for the next 5-6 years as a New York Giant after the season's over. He deserved it. He came back. He worked hard to come back from his injury. He definitely deserves that contract. And now I go to my team, the New York Jets. Last week I called Robert Saleh, half gas, emergency braking. This week there were some breaks there, but he put a little bit more gas into the engine of the New York Jets this week. Reason being, they finally used Zach Wilson's athletic talents to roll out and throw the pass deep. He found a connection with Corey Davis. Corey Davis had 4 receptions for 111 yards. Had a big 50-yard touchdown pass, rollout pass from Zach Wilson to score a touchdown in that game. That was his only touchdown. And Jameson Crowder made a return. He also had a touchdown catch. I think the presence of Jameson Crowder on this team is the reason why I'm finally having some faith in the offense now with him back on, a veteran presence with Corey Davis. I still don't like the fact that Keenan Cole and Elijah Moore are going to get more playing time over Denzel Mims, but Keenan Cole also had some big catches in the game. So, you know what I'm saying? But Robert Saleh needs to stop playing around with Denzel Mims, put him on the field. Because there were some plays, if Denzel Mims was in Corey Davis' spot, he'd have made those plays a whole lot easier for Zach Wilson. That's my opinion. I'm telling you straight up. That's what I saw. Each time that the 2 or 3 snaps that Denzel Mims was on the field, the ball went to Corey Davis and Jameson Crowder because they were wide. They weren't wide open, but they had some breathing room, some separation away from the defenders that they were covering them. Because you know why? Denzel Mims was taking 2 people with him. One of the catch that Jameson Crowder had, Denzel Mims was being double covered. So to say that this guy should not be playing for the New York Jets is out of control. Granted, Keenan Cole had a great game, but you gotta have the big dog, the big 6'3", 4'3", 40-yarder on the field more than 3 snaps. That's not fair. And by the way, that is Joe Douglas's pick. It's not a McCagnon pick. It's a Douglas pick. Joe Douglas is going to succeed in purging Mike McCannon's draft picks once he either trades Marcus May or don't re-sign him. And the only McCagnon pick that's going to stay is Quinnen Williams. You know, it'll be fully Joe Douglas's team. But I'm gonna tell you something about the Tennessee Titans. Tannehill had 30 for 49 for 298 yards with a TD, and Derrick Henry was a beast. 33 carries, 157 yards. A fucking beast. I thought he was going to run the Jets down in OT because in the fourth quarter, that defense was wearing down. Real talk. It was wearing down. But thank God that kicker for the Tennessee Titans missed that field goal, and the New York Jets were able to go home happy. 1-3 for both New York teams. Let's see where we go from here, guys. There's only one way but to go up. But let's keep everything in perspective. It is a long NFL season. There's going to be a lot of trips, a lot of falls, and a lot of triumphs. But one thing's for sure, from my opinion, Robert Saleh, get Denzel Mims on the field, please. And more for 3 snaps. If you talk about all gas, no brakes, you got to have that man also on the field getting at least 10 to 15 snaps a game. So this is me. I'm going to end this podcast as we speak. I'm Mr. Man Big Dom. I'm going to sign up for this podcast. You can watch the podcast on my YouTube channel. And also, you can watch it on Twitch TV at True Players Dom. You can listen to the podcast on JoeyG Radio, Anchor, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, and what are the platform? I'm on a lot of platforms. So I don't remember anymore. Apple and Google Podcasts. There you go. There you go. And so it's your man Big Dom signing off. Want to salute once again the healthcare workers who lost their employment due to not adhering to the mandate. I'll give a big shout out to them. Like I said before, my previous podcast, if any one of you needs assistance with rolling over your 401k or 403b, please contact me at trueplayerspodcast@gmail.com. I will definitely send you to the right person to have that done for you. All right. It's your man Big Dom. I'm going to sign off on this podcast. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.